And hello, my friends, and welcome on board. My name is Derrick Fennell, and I'm your host on the NexGen Podcast. And you're right on time for takeoff. So take your seats, fasten your seatbelts, and sit back and enjoy the flight on the NexGen Podcast. Welcome on board. And hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of NexGen Podcast, where we have on the air Miss Vivian Dinkins. This lady is absolutely awesome, man. I mean, you should see her resume, which is absolutely outstanding. Her resume, she's a cybersecurity specialist, and she's also has a master's degree in cybersecurity from LaSalle University, and she's worked in the banking industry in cybersecurity for over approximately about 30 years. So, folks, if you're interested in knowing how to protect yourself when it comes to AI and just the computer world and your banking and finance, this is the lady you need to listen to right here. So, Ms. Vivian Dinkins, welcome to the show. We're happy to have you. And tell us a little bit about yourself. Share with us, like, what started you on this journey and what inspired you to become what you've become.
Okay. Well, Derrick, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity to be on your podcast and to talk to your audience today. So it's a great opportunity to, get information out there to educate people. So that's what I'm all about. So thank you again. But my background, as you mentioned, I've been in the banking industry for quite some time. And I would say 90% of my time, I sold treasury management services to businesses. And so what that is I look at the company and I try to create efficiencies for them, look at the way that they receive their money, the way that the money is going out, and the information that they have and what they're getting about their funds in their accounts. And I help them make decisions and, like I said, efficiencies to create a better environment for them, to save them money, to do things a little bit better. So that's what I
Mm-hmm.
spent 90% of my time in all those years of working in treasury management. And within that niche, Derrick, what I found was that people needed to be more protective of their funds. There were days,
Okay.
you would see the checks that people would write. They scratch the name out or whitewash, as they call it, and put
Mm-hmm.
someone else's name on it and cash the check. The
Mm-hmm.
company's lost all that money. So I kind of started diving into that cyber world and of course, the
Mm-hmm.
check writing has evolved to more, um, innovative things such as email compromise
Mm-hmm.
and really open up the world to cybersecurity for me. So that's where I got my start into the cyberspace and
Mm-hmm.
knowing that there are threat actors out there and what we can do to protect ourselves and the companies that we work with.
But that's pretty powerful stuff that you're doing, and I personally thank you for sharing your time with us and explaining, helping us to understand what cybersecurity is all about. But let me ask you this: people talk about cybersecurity, cyber. How did that come about? Can you give me a little background history on what cybersecurity is? I mean, what is it? Break it down for us.
Wow. Well, it involves a lot because everything that you see in the technical world that's communicating to us, that could be in the cyberspace. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
involves so much that where technology and people become involved. And
Mm-hmm.
in the cyberspace, you have emails, you have money moving back and forth, anything that's related through the chains of the internet.
Mm-hmm.
That is your cyberspace or world.
Mm-hmm.
And that's an easier way of explaining it without getting too technical involved. So we have to be aware of what we're doing, what we're seeing, who we're sending emails to, what emails that we're clicking on, what links we're clicking on. So just to protect ourselves, though. And
Okay. Okay. Okay.
that involves AI, which we'll talk about later, I'm sure.
Wow. Okay. Well, I was gonna ask you that. When you mentioned about AI, and how does all this apply to AI and to the average person out there? Most of the folks that you've been working with are big businesses and stuff like that. But can you somehow break it down to us as individuals, us as senior citizens? How can we protect our money? How can we protect our assets? How can we protect what we do online.
And,
A lot
I
of
was just
people, a lot of people are afraid of AI, and it's just a quick story. You remember when we first went into the world of the internet, and everybody was like so afraid of the internet, right? I'm not putting my information on the internet. Here we are now. The internet is outdoing, these box stores now. They're closing down because everybody's shopping on Amazon. So, but anyway, go ahead. Give us some insight on for the average individual out.
Sure. Well, AI does have its place in the world today, as
Mhm,
we all know, and we have a place with AI as well.
mhm,
And that is making sure that we can live and survive with it.
mhm,
We want AI to serve us, so we want to give AI the instructions of what we want it to do and not the other way around. And I think that's what could help us alleviate some of that fear and some of that overbearing of, I don't want to do this or that. Well, think of it like what I want AI to do for me
mhm.
versus what are they gonna take from me?
Right. Okay.
So
Okay. That's
AI yeah,
that's
AI
powerful. Yeah. Go ahead.
Sure. So with AI, I mean, you have so many things like I don't want to say Alexa too loud because it could hear me, but you could ask the device to do certain things for you, tell you what the weather is, make an appointment, give me a reminder or whatever. Those are things that could help us, rather than overtake us. So we shouldn't be afraid of it, but
Mhm,
kind of embrace it
mhm,
delicately, you
mhm,
know.
mhm,
When we talk about fraud, yes, there are ways that we should stay safe. I mean, you wouldn't want to walk around in a crowded street with your purse open and exposed on your back. So
mhm.
you don't want information out there as well. We could talk about social media and how with social media we give out too much information sometimes, and that's where the threat actors can really find you and you know um,
Could you
trick
could
your
you give
system.
us an example of just one example of what you're talking about? You gave a clear example of people walking around and their purse is open or whatever. And, how does that apply to AI?
Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully no one is walking around with their purse open and they're on their back. I was just using this
Mhm.
as an example. Right. But, the concept is there, is that we share
Mhm,
too much information sometimes. For
mhm,
example, on social media, Facebook or Instagram or TikTok or whatever, you may share that, hey, I'm on this trip, on this fabulous trip in Mexico, and we're doing this and that. And it's the same day that you're there, so they know you're not at home. So that opens up the world to your house. So
okay.
yeah, so you
Well,
wanna make sure that what you're displaying on the social media is not information that can be taken in
mhm,
the wrong
mhm.
hand.
And used against you.
Yes, exactly, exactly. Your
Okay.
favorite pet. My dog is named Fifi or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
everybody knows now that your dog is Fifi. That might be a password that you use because we tend to
Wow.
use
Okay, 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 okay. Wow. And then, with social media, everybody's always showing where we are and what we're doing, and we're not at home. And, wow.
do it when you
So,
come back. Do it when you come back from your vacation, not while you're there, right?
okay, that's a great idea. Great suggestion. Great suggestion. Okay, folks, if you heard that, do your social media stuff after you get back from home. Not while you're there. That's a great tip. Thank you for that. Now, every journey has a challenge. What major obstacles have you faced that you had to push through to become successful in what you do? You have any particular stories you want to share with us?
So, I think time could be an obstacle for me. I mean, just
Hmm.
thinking off the cuff here.
Hmm.
I want to consume as much information as possible, but I just don't have the capacity to. I'm not a computer to absorb everything. So, there's so much to learn and so much to teach others. And
Hmm.
it's fun, it can be exhausting too. So, I look at that challenge as just allowing myself to learn as much as I can with the
Okay.
time and just, allowing for that space to learn. But I can say one of the other biggest challenges is overcoming the confusion or helping people to overcome the confusion and intimidation that they might feel about cybersecurity because it can
Hmm.
be a very intimidating thing, you know.
Hmm.
cybersecurity. What is that? It just sounds so technical.
It
So I'd
does.
love to bring it down and break it apart a little bit for people to understand and to give them quick examples of how they can survive in that space.
Well, let's break that. Let's unpack that a bit right now. Break it down. What is break it down for us. For our listeners. When you say you break cybersecurity down, what does that mean?
Well,
Unpack
it's
that for us.
yeah, it starts with telling a story, like, about a particular person that doesn't usually pay their bills online because they're afraid that
Mm-hmm.
someone might get access to their system. So they go physically to the place, whether it's a utility or a credit card, or whether it's a department store or whatever, and they used to write checks and
Mm-hmm.
pay the bill that way. It's an
Mm-hmm.
education of getting them to feel more comfortable. Let's go to
Mm-hmm.
that website. Let's
Mm-hmm.
register our name
Mm-hmm.
and your user ID, create a very strong, longer than 10 character passwords or whatever, but something that's good and strong. And I have a favorite little antidote for that. You want to
Mm-hmm.
create passwords that you can remember. So we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about that.
Mm-hmm.
But getting them to create that platform so that they can access that particular bill that they're paying or whatever
Mm-hmm.
and feeling comfortable with that and knowing that it's safe, you know.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Knowing that your password is a safe place
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
updating the information as you need to.
Mm-hmm. So, like, do you see, like, I know, like, a lot of times we have seniors uh, that are afraid of computers, AI, and how do you see them needing to becoming independent, not having to wait on their children to show us what to do? You know, how do we as seniors become more independent so that we learn to do this stuff? What are the challenges that you have teaching people to do that process that you just explained?
Sure. So I think it comes with a lot of partnering and patience
Mm-hmm.
with our seniors. And I think the families can do that very well because they are in a trusted environment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So, right. So if the senior gets this new device for Christmas
Mm-hmm.
and, "Hey, mom, you can try this out. We want to connect with you because we're far away." Or, when you want to see the kids, you can see them right here on this iPad or whatever device and feel comfortable with that. So you want to sit down with them, partner with them, sit next to them and say, "Okay, this is how we're going to do this. And this is how it works. We're going to create this and feel comfortable with the password and the username that you're going to be using. And you don't have to enter it in too much more or whatever."
Mm-hmm.
So partnering with them to make them feel more at ease with them. And I think
Okay.
that creates some type of independence as well.
Okay.
I know that the cyber world is all around them. Even if they don't go buy a single device at all, it will exist around them. If they drive a car, you
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
um, right, you have the little sensors on the mirror to let you know that another car is right next to you, so don't change the lane. So that
Mm-hmm.
is an AI driven type of device. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay. 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 Can you hear me? I think you wanna. Can you hear me? Can
Yes.
you hear me? Okay. What do you think are some of the biggest misconceptions that seniors have about AI? What?
That it's too big for them, that it's too big, it's too much, it's too massive, and it is. It is. It's very massive. It is too big,
Mm-hmm.
but, you only need a portion of it to make you feel a little bit more comfortable
Mm-hmm.
again and again and again, you know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think if you try to do some little exercises such as, "Hey, would you like to go on a trip? Why don't you get AI to help you build that trip or plan that trip for you?
Mm-hmm.
You wanna go to the movies? Go to Chat GPT and put in, 'Hey, I'd like to go to the movies with my friend on Friday, whatever the date is, at 7 p.m. I wanna see a movie like, a suspense movie or a romantic movie.' Put that in there and see what it spits out,
Mm-hmm.
So those
Mm-hmm.
are little trial things that you can try to do and play with to get that comfort level. So that's where
Okay.
I would start, is to start at
Mm-hmm.
where the interest lies, not so much,
Okay.
"This is cybersecurity and this is AI," and this is how it works.
Okay. Okay. And it can do that for you. It can definitely plan. It can even plan your. Say if you want, you can say, AI, I want to lose 10 pounds over the next 30 days. Could you plan a meal for me for the next 30 days and outline a program for me to help me lose those 10 pounds within 30 days? You can do that with AI.
Yeah, and Derek, what harm is that? It
Yeah,
doesn't hurt you, it's going to help you. So that's what we
exactly.
do get across to people, that it's going to help save you time, it's give you a whole plan of how to do this. So I
Okay.
think a good way to approach it.
So, you know the TV show called Mythbusters, right? So give me a AI Mythbuster moment. Give me something like, what's myth and what's
Yeah,
AI?
right. So I think a lot of what we just shared as far as, I know I can hear a senior saying, "I don't wanna know anything about that," because it's
Yeah,
too
yeah,
much. It's too much. I
yeah,
just shut it down, you
yeah.
know? So I would say the contrary part of that would be or the con part would be more of just, be more receptive of it
Mhm,
because it's not too massive for you to take one bite at a time, so to
mhm.
speak.
So on the business side of AI, if I, a lot of senior citizens have fixed incomes, they retire, and they just get their social security check or their pension check, whatever's coming in, and their income is kind of fixed. How could they use AI to help generate additional sources of income?
Mm.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit, maybe?
Sure. I know with ChatGPT, you can ask it. You
Mm-hmm.
can put in a prompt, and a prompt is just information that you want to give to ChatGPT or to AI to say, this is the instructions I'm giving you. Give me, the
Mm-hmm.
results, what I'm asking you for. So if a senior or anyone wants to say, ask AI, how do I build a business? Um, as a retiree and give it as much description as possible. I want to start a travel agency or I'd like to start a dress shop, in whatever city,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd want it to focus on women that are over 50 or,
Mm-hmm.
women
Mm-hmm.
and men. So be as descriptive as possible. And you would be surprised as to what AI will provide for you. It will give you a plan. And if you ask for it, of course, it will give you a plan. And sometimes if you don't even ask for it, it will give you a plan because it will say, what do should I offer you this or can
Mm-hmm.
I write this plan up? Do you want a report of how it would look in this environment? Do you want me to drive it to scale based on your what you pretend to earn in 5 years or whatever? So it will do a lot more
Mm-hmm.
than you're
Okay.
thinking. And
Okay.
so that's a way to generate revenue or to earn something. So whatever is in your
Mm-hmm.
mind, whatever creative thing is in your mind, put it out there and see what AI can provide for you as far as a plan and a
Okay.
project to.
Oh, that's awesome. That's now also, I know that when you use AI, a lot of times people will tend to take AI, they'll ask AI a question and AI will give them an answer, but it's not always 100% correct. So how do we monitor that? Like how do I know the information that I'm getting is accurate or it's inaccurate? How do I
Right.
catch that?
Yeah. And Derek, at the start, I shouldn't say the start because AI started some time ago, whatever. As AI started leveling the playing field for a lot of people to be more involved in it, we're able to give AI a lot more information now about us, about things,
Mhm,
about culture, about community and all. Because it didn't have a lot of that before. It was kind of myopic. It only saw one area that it could focus on. Similar to the World Book encyclopedias that we probably had back home
mhm, mhm,
written by certain people, and that information, whether it's the historical information that it contained, it was just only that
mhm.
side view of it.
Right.
Now we're able to give it more information about us, about our communities, about our culture and everything. It does have a broader view of who we
Mhm,
are
mhm.
and the information that it can spill out. Back then, it was called hallucinations, I would say.
Okay. Okay.
where if you put in something, you ask AI a particular question, it could give you not the right answer, but something close to it and all. So always verify and check
Mhm.
when you have
Mhm.
at Copilot or Gemini or ChatGPT. There's also Perplexity and Claude. Those are all AI tools that you can use and kind of check the reference. Put in the same question, copy and paste that same question in at least two or three of those tools to see what answer you get. If it's off base, it's like, whoa, something's not right.
Now, are all these tools that you named Claude, you named ChatGPT, you named Gemini, Copilot, are all these free? Do they have to pay for these
Right.
services?
Gemini and Copilot is free and as well as ChatGPT, but it gives you some leeway of some free services. Even
Mhm.
Perplexity is another one, and Claude. They're all free.
Mhm.
If you want to ask it more questions, you may go up a level to pay a monthly fee. So you
Mhm.
can look,
Mhm.
you can
Mhm.
look at the
Okay.
website and see what those are.
Wow. Wow, that's great. You're giving some amazing insight into the world of AI for a lot of people. I know that they're going to appreciate this. Oh, looking forward, you know, how do you see the industry of AI and how it over the next 5, 10 years? What do you see? How do you see that? What's your vision of that?
Well, I do believe that it will continue to grow by leaps and bounds. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's has nowhere to go but just expand as much as
Mm-hmm.
possible. And it
Mm-hmm.
would be astonishing as far as what we will see it do in the future. If you remember the Jetsons, and
Yeah.
all the incredible things that it did. I mean, everything was automated when we're watching the show and at home, we still have to use the toaster or the oven or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And now we can use all kinds of devices to warm our food up or to cook our food, like air fryers and
Mm-hmm.
whoever
Mm-hmm.
knows what are the other
Mm-hmm.
things.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, things will change. I mean, you'll have more devices that will give you more information than you expected. And I,
Mm-hmm.
I, I believe that it will be more universal in your home. It might be one or two devices that you need and not every single device, where you have your cell phone and you're using it to turn this on, turn this on and all.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be more of a universal approach.
So do you think that AI is going to make uh humankind unemployable? Are we gonna you know
No, no, I don't, and I'll tell you why. Customer service is so important, and a robot cannot be a customer service person. It doesn't have emotions. We have emotions. We have empathy. We have compassion.
Mhm.
All those soft skills that we've
Mhm.
learned in school or and experience in our
Well,
life. You know, I
well,
know.
I've seen AI where people are using AI as a customer service tool.
Yeah, it can direct you, it can approach you, and it can even say, "Wow, that happened to you," or, whatever, but it doesn't touch on the feeling, it doesn't touch on the
Okay.
emotion.
Okay. Okay.
Not that we all should have a business based on emotions or whatever, but there are industries that do, when you have your
Mhm. Mhm.
analyst, your psychoanalyst, or whoever
Mhm.
psychiatrists and everyone, that's great that we have them. But on the other front, when it comes to businesses and all, I don't think we will lose everything. I don't think the computers and science will take all of that away because we need behaviors, we need emotions, we need empathy and all.
Mhm.
I would just say on the security front, as far as the future of AI, I believe that we are teaching AI to predict what the threat actors will do out there. So,
Mhm.
just like the behavior of learning our behavior when we order something online, it's like, oh, do you want to order that same product you ordered 6 months ago? Yeah, okay, I do. Or no, I
Mhm.
don't. Leave me alone. I don't want to order it again. That same behavior will look at the behavior of those threat actors and say, nope, you're not going to do this. You're not going to be allowed to make these phone calls to all these people out here. So I think
Mhm.
AI will get better in predicting that environment to protect us.
Okay. Great response. Thank you. If I were to ask you for seniors, how we stay personally ahead of the curve of that's coming with AI? what would you suggest these seniors do to stay in front of and know what's going to learn what's coming down the pipe?
Right.
How do we
I would suggest attending workshops, whether they're within the churches, within the communities, or within a facility that you are in. And just being on the forefront of just trying to be present at those events because you can learn so much more. You can read articles, you can go online and research things and all, which is great.
Mhm,
Being in person or being in a Zoom call or some type of call,
mhm,
virtual call
mhm, mhm.
helps a lot too,
Okay.
to be
Yeah,
present and all. Getting as much
yeah,
information as possible, I think, will help overcome a lot of, the concerns there that seniors might have.
yeah. And being part of a community, like you said, you got some people that are home alone, but they can get on these communities and create friends and, look what I've done, So that's great, great, great advice there. Thank you. But let me ask you this. What legacy do you hope to leave behind through this kind of work that you do?
Knowledge,
Okay.
I want to be better off than they did prior to knowing what little I know about AI and,
Mm-hmm.
'cause it's so huge.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
wanna leave knowledge. I wanna leave the security of people feeling more confident about who they are and how they can approach this cyber world and not be or just have confidence in it, you know?
Okay. Okay. Vivian, as we kind of bring this to a close here, I want to just ask you, like, if listeners wanted to connect or learn more about you and what you do, is there a way to connect with you via email or LinkedIn or?
Absolutely. Through LinkedIn,
Okay.
yes, absolutely. My email
Okay.
address is there on LinkedIn as well as my connection with LinkedIn, and I'll certainly respond to you. Yeah,
Okay. So
great.
could you share your email address? Or would you like to do that or no? Well, they can go to LinkedIn and look up Vivian
Yes,
Dinkins, right?
yes.
Okay.
Thank you. LinkedIn
Okay.
and my yes, it is all
Okay.
inclusive
Okay.
and,
Okay. Okay.
information.
Do you have any upcoming projects or collaborations or anything that you're planning that you want to
Yeah,
share with us?
sure. Actually, I'm going to be collaborating with the elderly abuse community and,
Mm-hmm.
collaborating with someone there to talk to them about the cyberspace and
Mm-hmm.
AI.
Mm-hmm.
So it
Mm-hmm.
kinda goes hand in hand
All right.
because
Okay.
yeah, abuse
That's
exists.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I'm so glad for the opportunity to do that because, it kinda unfolds right into that space.
Okay.
So start to tell
That's
stories about what has happened, it goes right along with the abuse that, unfortunately, our seniors face sometimes.
mhm, mhm. Okay. And do you have any final thoughts, challenges, you like to leave to our audience today?
Or yeah, Derek, the main thing is to stay safe out there. Stay safe online. Don't be afraid to go online and do things, first of all. But
Mhm.
when you are, and even if you're not, just stay safe altogether. Use very strong passwords. And as I mentioned earlier, as far as
Okay.
passwords, you want to use a
Okay.
phrase rather than your
Okay.
name 1, 2, 3, 4.
You mentioned that, you had like some tips or something you could say
Yeah, one of the
about
tips
creative. Yeah.
right, is use a phrase. So let's say, my favorite TV show is The Jetsons.
Mhm.
Use
Mhm.
some of the letters from that phrase to
Mhm.
create your new password, and that's something
Okay.
that you won't forget. Throw in some numbers, throw in some characters in there, make it more complicated for people to figure that out. So
Okay.
make it
Now
easy.
you said your favorite TV show was The
It's not.
Jetsons?
It's not. I was just using that one
Okay.
like
Okay. Give me your all-time favorite movie that you've watched. That just resonates with you. People, you got to
yeah,
see this.
I'm a well, I don't tell people to go see it, but, I'm a romantic at heart, I think, and I think Ghost, with,
Okay. Okay. The movie goes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. My favorite movie is it's called In Time. Had
okay.
Justin Timberlake in it. It's a kind of like a sci-fi movie, but it's a very realistic movie where they use time as the commodity to replace money. So everybody is genetically engineered to live to 26, and if you run you don't have time on your clock, you die at 26. And you can accumulate time by going to work, but if you also spend money in time. So your time is money. Your time is, in other words, if you want to buy water, you got to
Mhm.
pay it with time, not dollars. Yeah. So, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. But thank you so much for the interview. I thought it was very good. I thought it was exciting, and I hope that the listeners find the information that you provided here today very valuable, because I thought it was. Yeah, and this has been such a great pleasure to have you on board, and I look forward to collaborating with you
Excellent.
later. All right.
Great.
And
Thank you.
once again, go ahead.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really
What,
appreciate the time.
what,
Yeah.
Well, and I just want to say to you, thank you. And this, ladies and gentlemen, has been another inspiring conversation of the Next Gen Podcast. And this is where wisdom meets technology. Thank you, and take care.